3 News. More local stories.
The art is part of the power of the arts. It's how it can make you feel. It can make you feel inspired, and it can also teach. So we're going to teach you a lesson this morning, a brief one, and encourage you then to come out to Chattanooga State and take in the full show of Radium Girls. Amanda Medlin is here. She is directing the show. Alex King, next to her, is part of the repertory theater degree that they offer there at the school in his second performance, and you are one of the actors in the show, so good to see you both.
Thank you for having us.
I was not familiar with the show until you just gave me a brief history of it, and yet somehow it seems to be kind of the thing right now at the moment. A lot of people have been putting on Radium Girls the last several months. It makes sense to me now that I know the plot line, so I'll let you, Amanda, kind of set it up.
Well, it's based on historical events that happened in the 20s to the 30s. Right after Marie Curie sort of discovered how to isolate the element of radium in a laboratory. Radium was the hot item in the 20s and 30s. It was in everything from baby formula to tonic water, and people thought it was a healthful thing. One of the things that they used it for was they would mix it with paint, and it had a luminescent quality, so they would paint it onto the faces of watches and clocks so that they would glow in the dark. They would hire these women to do it that had a real talent for detail work. And in order to keep their brushes, the point of their brushes sharp for the detail, they were instructed to take the paintbrush and put it in their mouth.
So now that radium is going into their systems.
Hundreds of times a day.
And then they found out years later their health risks.
And they started to develop strange symptoms, and then the women began to die. The corporation panicked. There was more and more research coming out that was linking the radium to the problems with the women, and they tried to cover it up.
And so ultimately, that fast forwards to the modern times we now live in, that these women were instrumental then with labor laws, the statute of limitations for how long you had to go back and have reparations made for you for grievances at work. So for you, Alex, was this also new information for you, being a part of the show?
Well, I was in Radium Girls a long time ago in high school, but it wasn't we didn't go really realistic as we are now, so it's really powerful to see, Amanda come in and really push the story and push, what it stands for. So it's really exciting to be a part of that.
There's so many different ways that you can present the story.
Yeah. So how big is the cast? I'm guessing it's rather small.
We have, I believe we have 16 in our cast.
Okay. So is it, and you're doing it there in the main theater at Chattanooga State?
Right.
But is it the kind of show where you can almost, you'll find out when it opens on November 18th, but are you expecting to feel the audience pulling in? Because it's dramatic in a different way.
It is. It's not, it's not a musical. It's not going to make you want to dance.
Yeah.
But the story's compelling, and it still resonates today. And I think there's so many elements that are important to bring out in the story. The element of compassion, and really allowing someone to be seen and heard.
I mentioned the power of the arts and that it does teach. It does. I think you talked about the musicals, and those are fun to go and be entertained by and have a little bit of an escape. They serve their purpose, and you learn from those as well. But you, I'm sure, are going to have a lot of conversations taking place on the way home.
I sure hope so.
After people come to see this show. Where does it take place? What's the basis?
The location of the actual story takes place in Orange, New Jersey in the 20s and 30s.
Okay. So you said that you did it in high school.
Yes, ma'am.
And now you're doing it now with a bit more of an in-depth focus. So are you enjoying this one more?
I don't want to say yes, but yeah.
Are you tired? Is it taxing for you? Because you're giving a lot emotionally.
Yeah, especially for Tom, because he's that family man and he cares so much for Grace Fryer, the lead. He's very passionate, which is something that I am, so I really resonate with that character. At times it can be, it is when you're putting a lot of heart into your character. But the good thing, Amanda creates this really fun environment, because it's serious stuff that we're dealing with, and it really happened. But it's tiring, but it's a fun environment and it's fun to work in.
Yeah, I will say too that the playwright has put a lot of moments of levity into the show. It's not all depressing.
Yeah,
there are some lighthearted moments, and it lends a real human heart to a story that actually happened.
Right.
So we get to kind of follow the lead character with dealing with relationships, and it's not just about her legal fight.
Right.
It's about what's going on in her head and her heart, and it's about moments of grief and moments of joy and triumph, and it's a full circle story.
Well, and I think I tend to kind of segue into lots of other things, so forgive me here, but we are in the season of Thanksgiving and being grateful for what we have, and you kind of owe these women a bit of a debt of gratitude that they were brave enough to go back and fight when their life was really literally leaving them.
Even when, close family and friends were telling them, you should give up.
Wow, that's a lot of strength there.
Yeah, and especially my character, he acts as this big support for Grace, but, when it gets closer to the end, he starts to kind of live in his realistic world where he's like, Grace, I think that you should, just maybe take a settlement or, dial back.
Yeah. We won't give it away what she does, though.
No.
So before I let you run, first of all, you can get tickets at the door, but it's cash if you do that.
Cash at the door, $15, and you can also reserve online.
Okay. It is, however, the seating is not reserved seating. It's first.
Right. It's general seating.
General seating. ChattanoogaState.edu is the website where you can go to get those online tickets.
Right.
Opening night is the 18th, and then again the 19th. Those are 7 o'clock showings. And then on the 20th at 2:30.
That's
Do I have
our
that
matinee,
right?
right.
And are you having a chance yet, when you're doing the runs as the director, to see them all of a sudden have those magical sparks where they become it?
Yes. And the closer we get to opening, the more moments like that happen. And I just feel so privileged to work with this particular group of actors. They are incredible. The nuance that they're giving to these roles, the life that they're giving to these characters, I think is a real testament to the talent that we have at Chattanooga State.
And we do have a lot, so go check it out. Break a leg, Alex. I'm sure you're going to do fantastic, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
There are numerous guaranteed offers being marketed in our community today, but I'm the only guy that comes to your house and makes an as-is cash offer that's not subject to a lot of strings and inspections. So if you're thinking about selling, don't make a mistake. Call Local Mark today.